we all think we know our Picasso. We've been to the Tate, we've been to MoMA in New York, we've been to Barcelona, we've been to Tokyo to see the great Picassos. We've read the books. We've seen them in my book, right? But we no, I mean, give him credit, okay? He read really one of my most serious books. Don't even read this one unless you need to sleep at night. But if you really feel like you know someone, John, you and I were going through this morning, right? You know Johann Sebastian Bach, or you know your Mozart, you've played it all the time. But then all of a sudden you say, whoa. And that is what happened. And actually this wonderful quote is, that whole sense of metamorphosis. You think you got me? You think you got me, buddy? I can get away from you. And why? And actually, even as I was writing it, because I'm telling John Block, don't worry, you're going to get a great book. It's going to be fine. Everybody's going to love it. I'm also thinking, how do I make this good enough for this project? Good enough for that show, Leigh, that you just did? Yeah. Good enough for the kind of experience you lucky chaps are going to have, because you're going to live with these things now. Well, some of you are really lucky, you're going to live with them forever, but so you're going to live with these things for a few weeks, for a few months. You're going to come back, you're going to look again, you're going to say, I never saw Picasso like that. And let's keep going, because we got a lot to cover here. This part you know, right? Wow, oh my God, what a place. All of them were there. Braque and Picasso and Chagall, they all were there. Modigliani, Brancusi, all were there. That was the wonderful Bohemian Picasso. We could get to her in a second. You probably know the story, right? No. Sure you do.
We want to hear
you want to hear the stories too.
27.
Here's Olga, here's Picasso. Now hang on. Look at what he's got on. He's got on a tie. Those days in the Bateau Lavoir, when he's hanging around with the Bohemians, he said, come on, Picasso, be a cool guy. Get drunk. Don't wear clothes like that. Look what happened when he got married to the ballet dancer, Olga Picasso, who she was Ukrainian, by the way. That was funny. I was at Park West one day, and I was doing something like this. I said, oh, the wonderful Russian ballet dancer. And boy, what a look I got on a wonderful blonde lady at the back of the room. She's giving me this look. I thought, oh, what have I done now? She said, she's Ukrainian. She's Ukrainian. I said, okay, she's Ukrainian, great. The ballet dancer. One reason you got me is that, going from that, when he was a Bohemian, Blue Period, Rose Period, to that, when he was hanging around, oh, what a moment. Ever see the ballet movie, The Red Shoes?
Yes.
Remember that scene when they go up to the villa in Monte Carlo?
Absolutely.
That's the A-team, man. That's Diaghilev would bring Picasso and Georges Braque. Guess who was doing the costumes? You ready for this? Coco Chanel. And who was there? Zelda Fitzgerald, Scott Fitzgerald, Ernest Hemingway, Cole Porter was up there. Everybody was there. And there was this beautiful Ukrainian, get it straight, ballerina named Olga. And I'm getting the funny feeling that I can get away with a few jokes in this joint, right? So every night on Tennessee. Yeah, I'm in Tennessee. I'm okay, right?
We're safe.
Turn off the camera. No, don't turn off the camera. Every night, Picasso, that dog, and I know we're going to talk about that. John and I talked about that already. The dog, he would knock on her door in the hotel, and every night she would keep that door closed. And finally, Diaghilev, the master of this ballet, the impresario, said, "Hey, buddy, Russian lady, Ukrainian lady, she needs a ring." And nobody could believe, this is Picasso, he was notorious. Nobody could believe that he actually was going to get married. And then what they really couldn't believe is he would put on the tie, the jacket, the vest, the black tie at night, the cummerbund. Oh, his buddies were furious. It's like, oh, he really sold out. You get the period of the duchesses, right? Yeah. You know these stories, don't you? Of course, how about this one? Marie-Therese?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Where was she? How old was she?
17.
She was just 17. Yeah. I know. Oh, the queen is upset already. She was just 17. She was shopping where? The Galerie Lafayette in Paris. Yeah. He wasn't actually inside the store stalking her. Not that bad. He was outside the store looking through the plate glass window and saw this gorgeous blonde, just 17. So she comes up to her. Remember the next part? He goes up to her and says,
I'm Picasso.
In a moment, he said,
I'm sorry.
Mademoiselle, you have an interesting face. Not a beautiful face, she had a schnoz. She had a nose, yeah, she had a nose, right? Oh, you have a very interesting face. I am Picasso. May we work together? May I draw you? And guess what? I love this. She didn't know I didn't say it. She didn't know who he was.
That's right.
She's 17. She had no idea. Then very quickly she found out, and she became the big muse. Let's go to the next slide. Fun stories. We're okay so far?
Yeah.
So, because now we got to go right through them. That's Dora. What was her profession? Fantastic. And thanks to Dora Maar, we have the photographs of Guernica all the way through. Do you remember? Does anybody know the story of how they met? The knife? Yeah, this guy knows. In a cafe. Dora Maar, who knows exactly who Picasso is.
Yeah.
A very good, actually, photographer and artist. We're going to get to a wonderful self-portrait. Takes a look at Picasso. She had a knife in the cafe and and gloves, and she starts going with the knife blade point between her fingers.
Yeah.
And Picasso, Picasso's eyes were like this too. He could really almost mesmerize you with his eyes. So Picasso's staring at this crazy woman stabbing the table, and once in a while nicking her finger. So there was a little blood on the gloves. She peels the glove off as she's walking out of the cafe and drops them right on Picasso. So she's next. And shows up in the studio and does some of the greatest photographs. The first one, Olga was a ballet dancer. The first one was really an artist. And a really, really powerful artist and a powerful mind. Who's next? I'm going to quiz you.
Dora Maar.
Françoise Gilot, whom I knew, what a wonderful woman and what a brilliant artist. And she's famous. Dora Maar we call the weeping woman. We'll get to that. And yes, there's a reason why she was crying all the time. It was Picasso. This one, do you know about Françoise Gilot?
Yeah.
A really great artist, a wonderful painter. And Leigh, go ahead. She's the only woman who ever left Picasso. She's the only one who walked out. And then she wrote a book, and he tried to squelch that book, which a lot of people ask me, was he awful? I don't think he's awful. I find him fascinating. You, John, you were putting me through this morning for your podcast. I don't think he was awful, but I hated that one.
Yeah.
I really hated that one. He really he had the entire art world, in a sense, blackmail, basically blackball her.
Yeah.
Oh.
Françoise Gilot, who did she end up marrying, by the way?
So.
Way to go. Hey, the Queen!
She knows.
The Queen knows.
Jones.
She wanted to sulk. How about that, everybody? Picasso to sulk, and she said, I only sleep with lions. Then there was Jacueline. Jacueline was the last one, and after Olga passed away, Jacueline became his bride. Sept was a model. He saw her in the street.
Yeah.
He drew her many times. She came with her mother, so there was no...
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the muses. Keep going. Let's go. We're having fun here. Now, this beautiful show that you've got follows on the heels of a couple of interesting shows in New York recently. This one was at Almin Rech, and she's married. She's married to Bernard Ruiz Picasso, who's Marina's stepbrother. And they, in that show, oh, so cool. They also brought out some of the things that Picasso had left in these huge villas that he bought on the south in Provence. And among them was the chair. Next slide. That chair was there that she was in when he painted her. Now, nerds like me, we love this stuff, right? But what I also love, next slide. No, there she is in the chair. Well done. That's Olga. In those days, ballet dancers had different bodies. You've got this one. And this one is really cool. Now, let's get it. Hang on to that. There's no way I'm going to get through this. There's no way I'm going to get through this with this jacket. Now, you got this one. And this one is really special. And I know, it's just a drawing, black and white. And this original one was in the city. I love this thing. Why? Leigh, you're the one who put it on the wall. You found a really good place for it. What's so fascinating about this thing? And it answers the question, John, that you were really getting to me with this morning, which is, how come we never saw these before? Why did Picasso hold this stuff back? What do you think? Why do you think he held this one back? Because it's got this, by the way, that's like 1907, 1908, when he was trying to invent with Roque Cubism. I've drawn that line a million times. There's the guitar line or the violin line. All of that is from that brilliant. But then, for fun, There's a pussycat. There's a pussycat, right? There's a clock here. There's a fireplace. It's realistic, first of all. So if he's supposed to be so avant-garde in 1917, what is he doing drawing the pussycat? What is he doing drawing himself, in bourgeois comfort with his bride? And this, by the way, I'm going to give away half my lecture right now. When people bug me and say, were they not good enough? Is that why Picasso held them back? I say, no, it's not that. He was putting together ideas from different moments in his career. The abstraction idea and the realism idea. And I think, like a lot of you will understand this, like a lot of musicians, it's sort of, I'm in the rehearsal room right now.
Yes.
Don't bug me right now. I'm not quite ready to do this.
I'm not going to sing the song for you right now.
There you go.
The lyrics aren't quite right.
And yet, here we are. And we are going to learn something, I did, about Picasso. Because it's almost like you collecting in depth, if you know what I mean, collecting in depth. You know what I mean? You get into an artist and then you say, I know that's your first thing that you did, that you really made your name on. But now let me see what you did 10 years later. And I just did this with an artist. He came back and did something 10 years later and he said, I don't feel like the same man. And then 10 years after that, or 10 years after that, you're learning tonight and there, and Cheryl, you're giving them the opportunity to say, how did Picasso, in a sense, become that Picasso that we now revere? And every single time I look at these, and I just couldn't stop walking around tonight. I just couldn't stop looking at them. There's just they're not just marvelous, but they remind me of something. He was immense. He was endless. There's only really one other artist I could compare with this, and that is Leonardo da Vinci and the Codices. When you think about how many drawings are in there, how he drew his way through different ideas. Let's go to the next slide. They're getting bored. But this is what this is about to a certain degree. Picasso's saying, and I'll get to the anecdote, because I actually knew somebody involved in all of this. Before I got to all this stage, I knew somebody who told me how much there was left that never made it to the gallery, that never made it to the museum, that never made it to New York or Tokyo or to Barcelona or to the Tate. That how much did he keep back? This, by the way, this is Paloma, not up and down. Who does she design jewelry for? Tiffany, very good. Who's she the daughter of? Françoise Gilot.
Yes.
Françoise Gilot, that's right. She's the daughter of her. And she brought to New York, to a very, very wonderful gallery, the Gagosian Gallery. We call it Go-Go, right? Yeah. And this was like the show that you've got here. Next slide for just a second. I've never seen that. Wow. Paloma's been sitting on that. I've never even seen Picasso use that red ever in my life. So this stuff is beginning to come out of the woodwork, including the ones that you have in Nashville. I mean, how cool is this in many ways, right? And next slide, but then let me explain to you why. So there she is, Marina, and you're looking at hers. And she's the granddaughter. She's the daughter of Polo, and you'll see him on the wall, the one legitimate son, in a way, of Picasso. I mean, that's a really old-fashioned way of saying it, but French law, by the way, did not recognize Maya, did not recognize Paloma, did not recognize the other ones, because French law was really way behind on something like this. There they are. He was kind of don't take this wrong. He, a little bit, and at the same time, what do you want to be? You want to be a race driver and a professional motorcycle driver, but he also liked to, hit it. And his father was terrified that this kid was going to die. Actually, of course, the interesting thing is, he never took up a paintbrush. He never drew. He was more of a motorsports guy. There they are together. There she is. Now she's in Geneva, or actually near Lausanne, on Lac Le Mans. She's a very private person. Friends of mine know her. I've been trying to get John Block together with her. I mean, he would just absolutely love this, right? But she's very, very private, and she has this cache. C-A-C-H-E, not C-A-S-H. Sorry, but John Block would say cash. That'd be great. She has this cache of tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 works of art. And now this is my friend, and man, I love this story. You gotta understand. this is almost as close as I ever got to Picasso. There was a photographer, his name is David Douglas Duncan.
Okay.
Yeah, you know DDD? Did you ever meet him?
Yeah.
We used to have in Paris these 4-hour lunches. Certain amount of wine involved here. Lots of really good food involved here. It was that restaurant near the Opera, which Zola would go to. It's that really, really fantastically famous restaurant. And this guy would tell me the stories. Because Picasso, he was an American, but he spoke rather good French, better French than Hemingway. And Picasso admitted him into the studio, admitted him into his garden for luncheon, admitted him sort of into his life. And so I'm just sitting there, the little nerd that I am, I said, oh, please tell me what this was like. And one thing he did tell me, because it relates to what we're doing, he said when Picasso died in 1973, he said he was one of the people that the bank brought in and the lawyers brought in to do, what do you think? Make an inventory, right? So they start opening up these big, huge villas, one for each of these ladies that you saw. Olga, Marina was living in La Californie. I know that one the best because D went in there a lot. And the other two beautiful villas that he gave. Those of you who think he was such a dog and a beast, and Picasso the Destroyer, which is a famous biography, he was pretty good to the kids and the grandchildren as well. Very good to them. DDD said it was like King Tut's tomb. It was like Ali Baba's cave. We opened a door. The whole thing was full of paintings and drawings and sculpture and little pieces of wood that he was going to make into sculpture. He said we were walking carefully around drawings that were on the Picasso drawings on the floor, Giacometti drawings that were on the floor. He said it was just incredible, Charlie, except for one problem, right? Nobody could ever get an inventory of this. Nobody could ever give. We nerds have this expression, catalogue raisonné, right? And there is no catalogue raisonné. There is no one catalog that says Picasso did all of these things and nothing other. Because it's hundreds of thousands of works of art. And DDD told me also they had security guys to pat them down when they would go out of the...
Wow.
Yeah, exactly, you know. And I thought to him, he was making this clear to me even at that moment. Charlie, it's infinite. The man's brain, in the hand that was connected to that brain, like Johann Sebastian Bach, like Leonardo da Vinci, he could do anything and everything. And he kept a lot of it to himself. Because like a lot of artists I know, they want to keep that one special piece. Jasper Johns is famous for this. Johns will say, you can sell that, that can go to the Museum of Modern Art, but that one's for me. I need this thing in my studio, but also I want everybody to see it. So now let's look at Picasso's Picassos, right? Picasso's. Actually, the one guy who got close to this, other than DDD, was a wonderful man named André Malraux. And Malraux had been a resistance fighter. He had been the Minister of Culture. He had been Picasso's friend. And Malraux was also the guy who said, hey, can I have some of these for the nation, for the Louvre, for the Musée d'Orsay, for a Picasso museum, which they got, but Picasso still, even with his best friend, said, you can have that one, but you can't have these ones. Let's look. Ready?
Yes.
The unknown Picasso. Somebody here has been to the Four Cats. You, right?
Yes.
Where is it? Barcelona. What is it? It's just this dinky little cafe. Who is this guy? This is from, look at the date, 1899. And you chaps know this. He was a prodigy. He could outdraw his dad. At the age of 13, his dad said, he had worked on a commission with his father, and his father, 13 years old, his father looked at what he did and said, I'm sure he didn't say it this way in Spanish, but sort of screw it. Here's my palette. Here are my brushes. It's all yours. Who else do they tell that story about? Leonardo da Vinci. And it was Verrocchio. And da Vinci had done the corner of that Madonna. Verrocchio said, that's just so good. Here's my palette. It's the same story and the same age 13. So here is in 1899, a little bit older. This is after, oh God, I shouldn't be doing this, I'm a professor. He basically got to art school and he said, this is so bloody boring. It is so boring. And by the way, the professors probably hated this kid, right? Because he could outdraw them, outpaint them like that. So they went back to that cafe that you went to, and he hung it with these portraits, these long, big, beautiful portraits of his buddies. Look at that.
Yes.
Can that kid draw? Can that guy draw? It's just fantastic. The whole thing that these were all the bohemians of Barcelona in those days. These were the poets. These were the other artists. It's not Casaquema. It's not the guy who committed suicide, but it's one of that group. And I just want you I'm making you look at it for a while, and you got it in there. Nothing in that room, in those rooms, nothing gets too far away from one essential fact about Picasso. It begins, my friends who are artists, with the wrist. It begins with the draftsmanship. It begins with that ability to draw. Since he could draw anything, and you could see it here, let's go to the next one. Since he could draw anything, then he could also break any rules. Now that is a study. And nerds like me love studies, because that is a study for a very famous painting. Raise your paw and tell me. Go. Next slide. Les Demoiselles. Go ahead, next slide. Go ahead, next slide. Les Demoiselles d'Avignon. Backward, one slide. Look at that. People like me love this. Because we see in this the process. We see in this the development of the idea. This is our way. This is our way of, hey, you would understand this. This is our way of saying, I know where that piece came from. I saw that manuscript. I love studies, don't you?
I do.
And there were lots and lots of these. Next slide. There, Demoiselles d'Avignon. Give him extra credit until he starts. Do you know about this? This is so cool. This is very recent scholarship that said he knew. Everybody knows Demoiselles d'Avignon is based upon the masks from where? Africa. Thank you very much. Extra credit. Africa. This is a new theory, and I rather like it. Look at the tilt of the head. Look at the faces there. He had just gone to see them in that region of Spain. Back to Demoiselles d'Avignon just for a second. I'm so boring, I know, but I think this is really cool. When you can find something new about one of the most famous masterpieces in 20th century art. Okay, keep going, because we'll be here until 3 in the morning. Let's go. Ha! Again, another. Why is he cut off? That's a shame. Yeah. Oh, there. Thank you very much. No. Wow, this is interesting. I never saw that Picasso before, because that one you've all seen.
Yes.
That's actually the famous one of Jean Cocteau, who showed up in a harlequin costume, shamelessly wanting Picasso to paint him, so that he could go away with a Picasso painting, right? This, I think, is wonderful and fascinating. This is what he did in 1916, the very same year, doing that kind of harlequin, doing that same idea, except for one thing. As I was saying, it begins with the realist hand. It begins with the draftsmanship, the drawing. Keep going. We're going to have this one. Bloch showed me. You guys know Bloch, right? You know John Bloch.
Yeah.
He said, "What do you think?" I thought, "Are you sure?" I mean, look at the clouds in that.
Yeah.
I would have said, "Magritte." Look at this one. I thought, what? And he said, it is. And now you understand. Picasso held this one back because once I figured it out, he did it from a photograph of an Italian painting. And one of the reasons it's a little on the stiff side is that it's from a photograph. He's the kind of guy who could just, do you like that with really fluidity. When do you finally say, John, David, right? David? Mark. Sorry, Mark. When do you finally say Picasso?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark. When do you finally say Picasso? In the hands, right? It's that neoclassical hand. It's that swollen hand. Sorry, Mark. I apologize. It's, when you see those hands, when you see him kind of, in a way, loosening up a little bit. But actually, this was one of the moments, to give John Bloch a little credit. He tested me on this. I said, come on. But then when I started looking at it, I said, this is interesting. Why would he do something like that in that style? Keep going. This you expect, right?
Yeah.
Pure Braque, pure Picasso, pure synthetic Cubism. One wonderful moment, that brilliant invention that really puts Picasso there, which was Cubism. Do you understand Cubism? How it works? Here's the setup, There, something like this. But it's not, or you. It's not just that he drew and painted that from here, as many would. It's that he did it from here, and from here, and from here, and from here, in one painting, simultaneously, different points of view through time. And John, you and I had this wonderful conversation this morning. Who else at that time was revolutionizing the way we thought about space and time? Einstein. Albert Einstein, who was saying there's a relationship between space and time. And frankly,
They were both playboys.
Yeah.
who let her in?
Yeah.
Oh, brother. Next slide. Next slide. I walked right into it. This is based in loosely based on anger. This is Four Nudes in a Harem. This is that wonderful long line. I actually see a lot of Manet in here too. This is Picasso responding to another artist. Anger, Anger actually was like Picasso. In 22 minutes, he could draw your portrait in a sharp pencil, and it would be almost photographic. And Picasso had a thing about anger. He had an anger problem. No, sorry. Picasso would go to the mirror in the morning and say, "Bonjour, Monsieur Ingres." I mean, it was really one of those situations, you know it in music too, competition between two artists of different generations. He looked at Velázquez and Delacroix, but especially he looked at Ingres as a kind of, how can I beat this guy? How can I outdraw Ingres? Can I do it? Am I enough of a virtuoso of line to beat this guy at his big game? Keep going. Here we go with Olga. Talk about realism. It's the next one that I find even more fascinating. And you're crazy. You're giving this thing away, or they are. This is one of the best ones in the whole thing, man. This is fantastic. That's Olga. She's a ballet dancer. She knows how to pose, right? He had just gone with Diaghilev and Cocteau and the others, and Coco Chanel, to see the Farnese marbles. Has anybody seen the Farnese marbles? Raise your paw. They're Roman sculpture. Juno, big marble sculpture of women, right? With flowing robes and lots of beautiful drapery. Marble, think that. Think classical. This is the neoclassical period. So you've got all that going on. Some kind of, and he's doing a resemblance of antiquity, except for one fantastic detail. It's really great. It's an old-fashioned painting with one detail. Go. She's got the watch on, because the watch was new. The boys in the trenches in World War I had switched to watches. Actually, Gerald Murphy and Mark Cross, they did the bands. They did the wristbands, right? And the women at that time, mainly in Switzerland, were buying watches. It was a big time thing. It was really, really fashionable to have a wristwatch. So he gives Olga the wristwatch, and he subtly adds this thing, which is 1917, I'm going to be really modern. I'm going to put that wristwatch into this portrait. That is a wonderful portrait. Whoever gets that one, be careful. You better have security as you go. Somebody's going to follow you. Go, next. This is Paulo. That's the dad of our Marina at breakfast. And he's got those chubby little hands. Okay, but he's also got those proportions, those heavier proportions that you see in another very great painting, which is the Three Women at a Fountain. So what I'm trying to do a little bit, force it on you, because I'm a professor, is see this one? Think of Demoiselle d'Avignon. See this one? Think of this. See this one? Think of the Harlequin. Many of the works in there are very closely related to what we would call the canonic masterpieces of 20th century art. Not just of Picasso, of 20th century art, including that incredibly charming one. Next slide. Uh-oh. And Leigh, you were so brave. You put that in there. Spider Woman. Who is it? Can you figure it out? The Weeping Woman. Dora. Very complicated lady, psychologically. And Picasso, I tell you, Picasso got it in many ways. Picasso got what was going on. Actually, next slide, just for the hell of it. No, okay. Dora was the one who photographed the Guernica. That's Guernica, and that one is related to Guernica. Go to the next slide, just for fun. And one more, I think. Oh, you don't have it. Never mind. Go back. That's the one I sent you. Never mind. There's one. It's a photo self-portrait by Dora Maar. It's the one I sent you. Sorry about that. It's okay. Cool. It's a photo self-portrait of Dora Maar looking at you through a spider web, and sort of saying, "I see you," and also saying, "I'm the spider," right? Now, one more question, like the Einstein question. Who at that time, I think Vienna, was seeing the invisible inside the visible face? who at that time was penetrating the face? Oh, you. This is your question.
Freud.
Sigmund Freud. Dr. Freud. And nice, right? And paging Dr. Freud here, Picasso, the way he did with time and space and the invisible, and he knew his Freud. And by the way, Freud wrote about him, and Jung wrote about him even better. And James Joyce used to have a wonderful joke, which I hope you're going to laugh at. James Joyce used to say she was young and easily Freudened. So I'm laughing at my own joke. I think that's absolutely brilliant. He knew this woman well. He made her cry every single day. But to get to that, I wish actually I had that other one, which is the photograph. But let's keep going. And this is in there. Here is the skull. Keep it in mind. Memento mori, right? Here is one of the greatest works of art of any time. It's called the Guernica. Dora was photographing it day by day as it was being painted. We thank Dora in many ways. But this is a fascinating still life. It's a Cubist still life, but look how carefully, how closely it's related to some of the iconography of the Guernica. Keep going. Oh, this is wonderful. This is Maya. This is Marie-Therese's kid. Keep going. I think we're going to keep going. Here's Dora. And this is the way Dora would do it. This is what bothers a lot of people about Picasso and his so-called treatment of women, because, the eyes are like this. But what I want to point out, too, is this. The colors. We haven't really talked about this. Do we have time? I mean, I don't want to bore anybody.
Keep going.
Marcel Salinas is the guy who printed these things. And you might have heard about him. Bloch might have told you a little bit about this. What do you know? Brilliant man. Brilliant. He was this very man. Get your attention. He was very handsome, like movie star handsome. He's from Morocco. He was a very good artist, actually. I've seen some of his paintings. They're very good. Shows up in Paris. Can't sell anything. Can't get a gallery. So he needs a job. So he takes a job with the printers. And at that time, Terriad and Skira, they were doing the first color reproductions of Picasso and Roque and Henri Matisse and Chagall that any Americans had ever seen, any Japanese people had ever seen. All of these things were being published in Paris. You needed somebody who could match the colors in ink. And this poor guy, Salinas, I love the story in many ways because he was so bloody slow. He was so slow that in New York he'd be fired immediately. It's like, come on, buddy, let's go. And every single one who hired him said, come on, I mean, how could you be so slow? And why are you throwing away so many sheets of paper? You're wasting all this paper. And he would simply say, the color's not right. Is that hard to do, by the way? You bet it is.
Yeah.
Ever painted your house? Ever painted the interior of your house and get a white, and then you go back to Home Depot, you get a white, you say it's got to be the same white. Boy, you do the first roll, you say, oh my goodness, I can see the difference between these two. So side by side, or as French Canadian hockey players like to say, side by each. Side by side, Picasso and this kid Salinas are working on the prints. Are working on a set. So this means what? Salinas knew precisely what he was doing. Salinas was really, really careful. That color, the Picasso blue, which could sometimes it's cobalt, sometimes it's cerulean, sometimes it's aquamarine. He knew. And when Bloch asked me to do the book, and actually what I like about the book, but even this is better than that, these are the true colors. I'm not doing this for John Bloch, by the way. This is my thing. I really love this idea that he knew when he ink hit paper that he was going to get the true colors that Picasso himself would authorize, because the only guy who ever signed any piece of paper next to Picasso's name was Salinas. So Picasso let Salinas co-sign. Keep going. There's Dora. Okay, one back, because you got to see these two together. There's Dora that you've got on your wall. There's Dora that we have in Paris at the Musée Picasso. And I love the quote. They're lies. They're lies. They're all Picassos, right? Not one of them is Dora Maar. That was by the way, chaps, that was a really bad breakup. Talking about energy. Let's keep going. Oh, there it is.
Oh, wow.
You had it. Look at that. That's her work. That's her work.
Wow.
Yeah, and now we could briefly say something about Picasso, the mind of Picasso. Some people think he was just a visual guy, he was a physical guy, a painter. Oh no. And this artist, Dora, and certainly Françoise Gilot, whom I met and talked to, and others that Picasso hung around with, there was an intellectual side to this crowd. There was a very wonderful intellectual side to that crowd that Jacueline brought together as well. That is a very intelligent self-portrait. Got it? Dora Maar. Keep going. Ah, these are marvelous. Somebody here has one of those. Ah, you lucky dog. 1951, Picasso goes off on a tear. One of many. And now we're getting, since I'm old, I hate being old, since I'm old, now I'm getting to understand this too. He's older. He's got a beautiful young wife, this time is Jacueline. He's beginning to think in terms not just of painting and drawing, but also telling stories. And now I'm going to bore you again, because I'm going to say one of the greatest moments in my life as a professor is teaching the master of Spanish novels. His name is Miguel de Cervantes. Who said it? Extra credit for her. Cervantes, right? And it was a huge, huge influence upon Picasso. And as you know your Cervantes, I bet. What could Cervantes do? When Cervantes captured and he was in prison, he entertained the other prisoners night after night after night after night for years, telling stories. And it was bloody, it was endless. When Picasso did this series, and I really love this series, he was telling these stories almost like writing a novel. And within the space March to October, how many? Hundreds, right? I think it's hundreds. Hundreds of these, and they are, if I may, just for a second, because we got to look at art a little bit. Look at the difference between this and that. Look, I mean, you could diagnose this as some kind of split, right? This bifurcation. Look at how straight these lines are. Look at how the night in this is done in almost a geometric, I almost see math in here, right? I almost see mathematics.
String theory or something.
Oh, string theory. That's pretty good, eh? String theory. Wow, you should write your own book. No, in a way, actually, string theory is not that bad in the sense that it's energy.
Indeed.
And over here, there's this energy, and then, wow, these beautiful, sorry guys, it's like, get them out of here. Those beautiful curves. I'm sorry. I'm not looking at my wife and saying, I'm sorry, but I mean, like that, the beautiful Renoir-esque, Ruben-esque, you name your favorite, that right on his mind at that point, it was Raphael and Fornarina. I mean, it's wonderful there. What you also notice between, now I'm really pushing you, I'm sorry, but I kind of like you. What else do you see in terms of the making of this work of art, the difference between this and this? Sorry? Don't mumble. One is done with
Shower.
shower curtain. I love the shower curtain. He calls it the shower curtain. He did this before. He's cracking me up. Yeah, the shower curtain. He's peeking through the shower curtain. But what's the difference between the way he did this side and the way he did that side? Yeah, it's the tool. The tools are the rules, chaps. It's the tools. You understand me right away. The kids upstairs will. One is, here's the pen, sharp point, go. Maybe a ruler too, like that. Although he probably does a straight line like that. The other is brush and curves. All right, I'll stop. I'm sorry. Let's go to the next one, because actually from the same series, same idea. By the way, a little bit of brush, a little bit of this, so from the same series and the same moment. 1951, he meant a lot of guys would be slowing down. Some guys would put their hockey pads away. What is Picasso doing? In my opinion, now that I'm old too, but also after I did this book, let's keep going. He's in a desperate race with time. And here's one of them. This is Paloma, actually. This is, okay, go ahead, quickly. Famous painting in Madrid at the Prado. Velázquez, thank you very much. Last man.
Yeah, he's in.
Yes, very good. And he's doing this interpretation of Las Meninas, which he's done before. And there it is again, the little girls. Keep going. 1952, 1953. Whoa, we're back. Although there are Cubist elements here, there's a shower curtain, by the way. Although there's Cubist elements, he's softening up here. He's softening up. He's going back to realism. It's funny, right? This guy's gonna go all the way to the end, and literally, by the way, all the way. Like the night before, he was painting. Keep going, because I want one more. Actually, I love that. See what that.
There she is. Ponytail.
And she, yes, the blonde, the one whose mother used to come with him. Why did he go back to the way his dad had him draw with this wonderful precision? She was such a beautiful girl, by the way. Look at the photographs of her, knockout. You know, Bardot, kind of, Mediterranean blonde, oh, unbelievable. But why do you think he goes back to that?
Nostalgia.
At this time, 1954, sorry?
Nostalgia.
Do you think so?
I don't know. Wanting to please himself in a different way.
Wanting to please himself, not necessarily to please her. I'll buy that. I'll buy that. Also, at this point, he'd been in these contests, Velasquez versus me, Angler versus me, Degas versus me, Delacroix versus me. Now I'm in contest with myself. Now it's myself. Now I'm going to see, because if you really look at this, ooh, you lucky thing, you have the blind man's repast. You have one of the greatest moments in 1900 of his career. Do you know the frugal repast? The blind man with his hand on the bread? It's yours. And the beautiful bottle of wine. Look at the way Picasso drew that, and look at this.
Oh, that's
Keep going, one more. And now it's going to get, okay, now anybody need a drink? Because now it's going to get a little serious, right? Yeah, it's going to get serious, and I am old. This is called tête de femme, head of a woman. Ostensibly, the model is his wife at that time. I've been keeping track. Who's next? Who's up now? Jacueline. So ostensibly, but now look for a second, chaps. Look at the eyes. Who we got here? Who have we got? It's not just Jacueline, chaps. Look at the eyes. Look at the way that skull resembles that death's head before. Who is it? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. There is an element of Dora. And by the way, don't put that past him. He was a marvelous synthesizer of visual ideas. He could put this plus this together. The famous one is the one in that book you've got, where everybody thought, oh, that's Olga. It wasn't. It was Sarah Murphy. So he did that too. But no, one more. I'm going to give you one more chance. The eyes. Actually, even the nose a little bit, but the eyes.
Oh, that girl from the beginning. First one.
Evil Ghoul.
Picasso himself. And when I hit this one, and this is where this by the way is why I thank you, and this is why some days I thank that guy John Block too, because when I figured this one out, it hit me. It was a heart punch. That's him. He's putting himself. That's the old guy with the pretty young wife. That's the old guy who's wrestling with his mortality. And then I thought of something else. The most famous painting in the world, some scholars have said, is both a painting of a woman, La Gioconda, and himself, the Mona Lisa. Can you? And do you think it might have occurred to him? You bet it occurred to him. Don't you think he knew that?
Oh, hell.
Let's go. Oh, this gets so profound, because now look at the year, 1969. We're 4 years from the end. It's a bouquet. Oui, mais bien sûr, it's a bouquet. There, inside the bouquet, you see faces. And there's also the genius of Picasso. He reinterprets nature. I mean, what he could do with his pen, what he could do with nature, the way he messes with your mind imaginatively, his face is up in there too. And let's do one more, and they'll be so mad at me. Visage de femme, de face, femme, woman, femme again, Jacueline, and yet now you see it, because that's Picasso. Okay? That's Picasso right there. So he's right toward the end. He's saying, I still got it. I could do that. There's a lot, by the way, of Demoiselle d'Avignon in here too. The way that face is twisted, the patterns of it as well. So much of the entire 70 years of drawing and painting, of revolutionizing art, of teaching us to look at things in a different way, smushed into one painting that he's doing when he's an older guy, and not letting. What I love about him, hey, you and I just talked about hockey. He just doesn't want to hang up the skates. He just doesn't want to quit yet. He's like a lot of ballerinas. He's like a lot of singers that I know. Who just, You gotta haul them off the opera stage. Some should remain nameless, but their initials are Placido Domingo. I'll leave you with one thought, but one last thought, okay? Freud, Einstein, Picasso, maybe Leonardo da Vinci, Shakespeare, right? That ability to just conjure universes, infinities of characters and ideas and thoughts, things that have literally changed the course of history. And what we've got, Cheryl, what you've done for Nashville, what you've done for Picasso in many ways too, is to put this on the wall so that you'll never, I hope, you'll never take this for granted again. Thank you so much for coming tonight. What a pleasure it is. It's really fun.